What is up, loves? Happy Monday. I bet you did not expect to see me at 2 p.m. on a Monday afternoon, but here I am, so excited to be here. I hope you had a great holiday Sunday yesterday if you were with your family. If it was just a relaxing Sunday for you, I hope it was great as well. But because yesterday was a holiday, we didn't do our traditional woo-woo Sunday, so I thought I would do a very hybrid, like woo-woo Monday, but also keep it super strategic about building business as a hairstylist. Heather, so glad you're here. Tracy, glad to have you. So it's going to be a little bit hybrid. Let's try it. Why not? So I wanted to talk about the 5 things that you need to keep in mind when you're creating your guest experience, and this is going to be one full of ahas. It's going to be like, oh my gosh, now I get it. I missed you live. Woohoo. I know, Heather, I'm so excited to be here. Amy, so glad to have you. You guys are going to like this one. I'm excited about it. I'm reading a book called The E-Myth Revisited, which I'm obsessed with. Like, I can't put it down. My business coach suggested it to me, and it's just incredible. I'm loving it. And it's just kind of reminding me about a lot of things that I did already know and some things I didn't know. Hi, Michael. Happy Monday. And there's a story in there about a barber. And it just is something I need to share because it so relates to everything I coach to. So I want to share it with you and then dive into the 5 things you need to keep in mind if you're going to create an incredible guest experience. Let me introduce myself. And then we'll roll. My name is Britt. And hi, Kristen, and I'm a social media and marketing strategist just for hairstylists. Me too, Mary Beth. My goal is to make your life as a stylist a little bit easier, a little bit more organized, help you to spend your time and money in the right places, quit wasting it in the wrong places. Shelly, I got you. So you can grow your clientele the quicker, faster, easier way using today's technology. It's never been easier to grow a clientele. We just have to understand the tools at hand to do so, and I'm here to share some of those things with you today. Hi, Emma. If you like what we're talking about, as always, you can give me the Facebook thumbs up by clicking the button or the hearts, which I love as well, loving the love. And then you can tag any other stylists who you think might enjoy this as well into the comments below. I would love it if they got to enjoy it. It would mean so much to me. Twee, so glad to have you here. Glad to have you live. So this is the woo-woo part. So if you guys don't know, on Sundays, usually I do a live broadcast that I call Woo-Woo Sundays. And it's where we talk less about like marketing and referrals and clients and money. And we really get down to like the heart and soul of our industry and the emotional barriers that hold us back and the things that we need to kind of get right in our heads before we can achieve great success behind the chair. So one of the things that I talk about is the 5 languages of love. So I am going to relate back to that right now. And the 5 languages of love, I wish it was called the 5 languages of humans, because I think when we say 5 languages of love, everybody thinks about relationships, which it is about relationships, but it's about relationships on a deeper level than just with you and your partner, you and your husband, you and your wife, whatever. It's just relationships in general. There's a 5 languages of love for children. There is a version for work, but I'm actually going to take the traditional 5 languages and apply them to your business. And this is where the ahas are going to come into place. So the 5 languages of love were created as a way for people to understand that we all, I know, Wendy, I'm so glad to have you here. We all feel kind of valued as humans more than anything. Shelly says, if I don't get words of affirmation, I shut down. Shelly, that's why we get along so well. I'm so words of affirmation too. Okay, so words of affirmation is the first language, which is Shelly and I need people to tell us all the time how amazing we are and how much they love us. And we need like gushing words all the time. That's what fills us up, right? I tell my daughter I love her 1,000 times a day because I want her to say it back to me. I'm all about the words. I need the verbal communication that I'm accepted. Oh, lots of you are words of affirmation. You got me on that. I need the verbal affirmation that I'm loved. Then we have gifts, which I'm not a gifts at all. Oh my gosh, yeah, and Shelly and I are also like birthday twins, Libra twins, like everything. Anyway, we're just on the same page. So gifts is another one. Now, I am not a gifts. Heather says she's a touch and words. Oh yeah, I'm going to get to that too. So some people like gifts. That makes them feel loved and appreciated. And when we say gifts, it doesn't have to be like elaborate gifts. It can be like, I wake up in the morning, you have a Starbucks on the counter waiting for me, even though you've already left for work, right? That to me is a gift. For some people, it's when their husband randomly sends them flowers at work. Now, we all love that. Are you a Libra, Nikki? Of course I'm a Libra. Of course. Best sign ever. Just kidding. Love all the others too, but mine's the best. So of course, I love it when my husband sends me flowers. He knows that I do, but that's not what makes me feel validated so much as the words of affirmation, right? And we all love all 5 of the languages, but there's certain things that we all value higher than others. And gifts to me is not high on my list. It's very low on my list. But for some people, you need the little surprises and the gifts and the presents. And that I went into my car this morning and my husband left me something sweet that I didn't even know was coming. And I need a lot of gifts on Christmas, right? And that's totally fine. Okay, and then we have physical touch, like Heather said, which is hugs, holding hands, snuggling, a touch on the arm. Anything physical touch related is how you feel a connection to another human. And I know that I'm good at expressing physical touch, very much so. If you meet me, I've met some of you randomly. I meet people out in the world now that I didn't even know existed. And if you find me in the street, say hi to me and I'll give you the biggest hug, because I'm big on expressing in physical touch. Shelly says, don't freaking touch me. Right? So that's not her love language. It makes her very uncomfortable. And that's why we have to know all of these things. See where I'm going with this? Okay, then we have quality time. Quality time is actually something that I struggle with. My idea of quality time might not be somebody else's. For me, quality time is we're in the same room together. I see you're there. I'm here. I'm doing my own thing. You're doing your own thing. For some people, they need one-on-one. I'm looking at you. I'm with you. We're here together. We're not watching a movie. We're just connecting. We're bonding. My daughter's this way. It's just you and me. Let's be on the same page. That's quality time. I'm not built like that, but a lot of people are. And so they need that kind of attention in order to feel validated. Okay, what have we forgotten? Acts of service. I express in acts of service too. So I need to have love given to me in words of affirmation. I express my love a lot of ways in acts of service. So I'll clean my daughter's room, or I'll do something like business related. I tell my husband I'm his secretary. I'll do something like very organization-y for him, and I'm like, ta-da! And they're like, thank you. And they think it's nice, but to them it doesn't necessarily feel like love, because it's not the way they accept and receive love, but it's sometimes the way that I give it. So acts of service is you want to show people that you love them by doing nice things for them, right? By doing favors, you're showing love. Shelly says, people who need quality time drain me. Shelly, me too. It's like torture. I'm like, I just can't give you that kind of one-on-one time you need. I'm just not built that way. But some people need that, and I can respect and understand that they do. It's just a struggle for me. And that's why there are these 5 different languages, because we are all built different ways. Heather says, Heather, I want your comment. Hairdressing is perfect for me. I get to touch, and get told I'm amazing over and over. Oh, Heather, so it just fills your soul, right? Everything is perfect. Nikki says, okay, so I have a problem. I told myself I need to stop hugging or expressing love to my clients because it bothers me when the relationship is lost, like when they just up and leave. Oh, it hurts you. So I told I told myself that from now on, you're cut off. Finish that, because I like where you're going with that. I want to hear the rest of what you're going to say, because I think I'm actually going to get to that. That's one of my notes on physical touch. So let's transition into this. Let me tell you a story while I'm waiting for that to come back. So those are the 5 languages of love, if you haven't heard of them before. Okay, that's the backstory. So I'm reading the book, and it's talking about this story of, and this is a guy who is not a hairstylist. He goes into a barber shop. He was referred to go there. He goes in, he's greeted with a wonderful handshake. The guy looks him in the eye, sit down, they have a great consultation. The man explains, I am going to have to shampoo your hair before we start. And the guy's kind of like, I don't know, I've never had my hair shampooed before I get a cut before. And he's like, no, trust me, it's going to really change the quality of your haircut. He goes and gets shampooed. When he comes back, the man's assistant comes over and says, before we start your haircut, can I get you a nice hot cup of coffee? Can I bring you a little granola bar or whatever? And he's like, oh my gosh, yes, this is amazing. Yeah, I'd love that. That'd be great. So he's served the coffee and the treat, and the barber goes to cut his hair full shear. No clipper. It's the first time he's ever experienced that before. Shears 100% of the way. And he's like, it is the best haircut I've ever had. They talk the whole time. He really feels like he connects with the guy. They're on the same level. Great. Pre-books his appointment, leaves. Comes back the next time. Hey, how are you? No handshake, but same thing. They don't start with the shampoo, but the assistant comes over and offers the coffee and the granola bar. Great. No shampoo. This time the cut is 50% clippers, 50% shear. Still goes well. And then pre-books and leaves. And he's like, well, it kind of wasn't the same, but it's still the best haircut I've ever had, right? So even though it wasn't 100% sheer, even though the clippers were used, even though there was no shampoo, still the best haircut I ever had. So I'm going to call it a fluke, and I'm going to go back in. So he goes in the 3rd time. And the 3rd time he comes in, and it's, hey, how are you? Come on in. I'll get you started. No handshake, nothing. He sits down, again, 50% clipper, 50% shear, no coffee. And at first he's like, oh, well, maybe the guy's assistant is off today. That would be a lot to manage, doing coffee and amenities and trying to cut hair. That would be a lot. But then he sees the assistant walk by. So no, the assistant is here today, but he didn't get that same kind of treatment. And at that visit, the man's, and still the best haircut he's ever had. He's like, but the haircut is still the same. I will never come back here again. Why? Because the experience suffered. And this is something that we all get sucked into. Heather says, no more personal connection and specialty. 100%. The other thing is, the bar was maybe set too high at the first visit. And there is a lot of, and if you know me as a coach, I don't coach to creating just this once in a lifetime first client visit and then it all goes to crap. I teach to things like rewards programs and monthly promotions and email marketing and all these things that we can do to nurture that relationship. So it's not just the first time that one time, because we are all so programmed, so good to be like, man, I want to give them the best first client experience they've ever had. Right. But if it's all downhill from there, they're going to feel that. And they're going to be like, man, what happened? You were just trying to sucker me in and now we've fallen out of love. Like, what the heck is going on here? Clients pay attention to that. And what happened was there was no consistency. Erin said consistency is key for a great experience. It is. There was no consistency. And by that third visit, when the assistant pretended like he didn't even care he was there, he didn't even offer the coffee, nothing happened, he didn't feel appreciated and valued anymore. Okay, so I want to go back to where that experience went wrong based on the 5 languages of love. Because, the man in the story in the book I'm reading doesn't mention the 5 languages of love, but as I'm going down it, in my mind, I'm checking off every single one. And I don't even think he realized when he was recanting this story that that's what he was going through, but all 5 languages fell apart. And that's why I want to share this with you. So first, we start with physical touch. He mentioned in the book that he loved when he was first greeted, and he didn't say anything about a hug at the end. So, and you know, it's 2 men, so maybe that's not as common in a barbershop. I've never been to a barbershop. I'm not sure. Maybe it's not protocol. But I know in the salon, a lot of times we embrace our client, whatever. But if you don't want to, he loved the handshake. And when I suggest with the handshake, if particularly as a woman, what I appreciate from another woman sometimes is one hand on top of the other, like 2 hands. When somebody's shaking my hand, like, oh my gosh, it's so nice to meet you. And really great eye contact. That makes me feel very like warmed, welcomed, and embraced into your world. I like that versus a so nice to meet you, right? Can you tell there's a difference? So it can be a deeper physical connection without a hug. It doesn't always have to be a hug. Somebody said, I don't feel quite so comfortable hugging because for her it made her feel vulnerable. And then when that client left, she was hurt now. The deeper thing, right, is figuring out why those clients up and leave you, which we're talking about today. So I think the more you'll apply these things, you'll get less of the clients up and leave you. But there are other ways to create physical touch besides a handshake. Anybody who's spent a lot of time with me here, which is a very small portion of you, I know, I am a touchy person. And when we're talking, so if you are saying something to me and I'm trying to connect to you, my hands are reaching out across the table to you so that you know I'm open to you and listening to what you have to say. If you say something that touches my heart, I'll touch your elbow, just so you know I'm connecting to you and understanding. So it's not in a creepy way, but I do know that a lot of people connect like that. I'm also very well aware of the fact that not everybody does. And it is easy to tell pretty quickly on if you have a client who doesn't want to be hugged, who doesn't want to be touched. There are clients who don't like that either, and that's okay. That means that's not a part of their love language. But until you know what their language is, it's important that you establish that physical connection, and it's there because some of us are fulfilled that way. Mandy says, I'm a hugger, but I can't always tell when someone isn't, so I'll switch to a gentle shoulder touch. Mandy, I think that's great. And then once you know somebody, right, you can flex a little bit. But we always want to start by having the physical touch component. Can I also remind you all that as hairstylists, you are sometimes the only form of physical touch your clients receive. Some of your clients don't have partners, spouses, don't have children, don't have family in their lives, don't even really have friends. I know it's hard to imagine that for some of us. For some of us, it's not so hard to imagine that. But you giving a shampoo, touching their head, touching their shoulders is the only form of human touch that person receives, whether they share that with you or not. And it's crucial as people that we have that. And I want you to never forget how powerful that is. So even though sometimes for us it's uncomfortable, the gift you're giving to your client and the choice you made when you got that license is to provide that to the world. So it's really important that you keep that in mind. Okay, then acts of service. Remember in the story that I told you, he was talking about how much it meant to him that the entire cut was done with shears the first time. That to me is acts of service in our industry. He knows well and good. He's a man. He's been getting his hair cut for probably 45 years. He knows well and good that the cut can be done by clipper. He even saw it happen, that the exact same haircut was replicated 50% by clipper, right? But the fact that the man went out of his way to do the entire cut by shear meant a lot to him. It was the first time he'd ever experienced that before. It felt like, man, he's going the extra mile to make me feel special. That is an act of service. So if you have a guest who feels love in acts of service, you need to think about what you can do behind the chair that lets your guests know you're going the extra mile service-wise. And it can be the smaller details, like if a color is processing, you're really careful to clip it up neatly so that it still oxidizes, right? But it's up off their shoulders. You maybe tuck a nice towel around their neck in an elegant way. Like there's little things that you can do to make them feel like you're going above and beyond. Maybe you finish the cut and you say, I want to do a little additional dry cutting. I'm just quite not happy with this part. I want to make sure it's perfect for you. Think about what you can do on a service level that is above and beyond what other stylists are doing, because if somebody is in acts of service, that is what they're looking for. They're looking to be babied a little bit. And this is where we start labeling our clients, right? She's picky, right? Your client who's picky is in acts of service. She needs you to juju her a little bit. She needs to be a little like, oh my gosh, and feel a little bit special because she's in acts of service. So when you have a client who's a baby, she's this, and she needs a little bit of that. Okay, then we have the gifts. And this is why I talk about welcome gifts in Thriver Society. There are clients who are like, give me presents. I need treats. What do you have for me today? And a gifts client is not the same as a cheapskate, right? So sometimes we have clients who are just like, what do you got for discounts? Can you give me this for free? Can you do 25% off? That is not a gifts client. That is just called a cheapskate, or a consumer who's a bargain shopper, which is a totally different demographic than what I'm talking about. A gifts is somebody who would come to see you anyway, loves you, but feels like, wow, Britt really loves me as her client because she goes the extra mile and gives me sample packets, gave me a welcome gift, gives me a treatment on my birthday because she knows it's my birthday and she wants to give me something nice. That's a gift. So it's important to differentiate the client who loves the discount with the client who feels good when you add value and give them a little something. And remember, with the gifts, it's not the $50 bouquet of flowers you send. It's the $1 sample packet that you give her every single time she leaves because you know she loves it, right? Mary Beth said, when I started in this business at 17 in the salon I'm still at today, I remember thinking when a client complained about not being asked if they would like a cappuccino one time that they were nuts, right? And we're really good about labeling clients that way. And then she says, fast forward 22 years later, sorry, your comments just flew off my screen. Let's see if we'll come back up. But I used to label clients that way too, right? Like, she's nuts. So what if I didn't give you a coffee? So it's everything. This is what a client expects. This is the experience level that you promised them. So no, they're not crazy. It's what you signed them up for, right? If you promised them this, so now you have to come to the table with it. Okay, so that's a gift. Then we have a words of affirmation, which is me, which is Shelly. Shelly says, that makes a lot of sense. The clients that exhaust me are the ones that don't leave after I check them out because they want the quality time. Shelly, yes, that's exactly right. It all comes down to the 5 languages. Okay, so then we come to the words of affirmation. This is why I'm big on thank you notes. I am somebody who, when the woman at Nordstrom sends me a thank you note, when my dentist sends me a thank you note, when the girl that did my facial sends me an Instagram message telling me how much she enjoyed her time with me, I love it. That's what I want. I want people to tell me how much they love me all the time, which is why I coach you to sending thank you notes to your clients, because a lot of clients are words of affirmation. It's actually very popular with females. Shocking, guys. I know that we want to be told we're amazing all the time. So sending thank you notes is really important. It's how a lot of people feel validated. And when you send a thank you note just saying, thank you so much for your business, I so enjoy it. Alex gets it. I so enjoy seeing you every time you come in. Just wanted to know how valued and appreciated you are to me. You just locked in a client for life. They're never going to leave you because you spoke their love language and made them feel appreciated. Sometimes it's verbal. Sometimes at the end of the visit, you can just say, do you know what? I hope you know how much I love every time you come in. I look forward to having you when I see you on my books. It makes me so excited. I just hope you know that. Sometimes it's just something quick like that makes them walk away being like, damn, I have such a great hairstylist. Like, we have such a great connection. Words of affirmation. Okay. Then we have physical touch. So physical touch is clients who need to be hugged every single time, clients who enjoy that handshake, right? Did we already talk about physical touch? No, I don't think so. So it's the client that really needs that as a part of their experience. So it's important that you give that, even if it makes you a little bit uncomfortable. Adam says, more inspiration with Britt. She's changed my career and my vision. Adam, that makes me so happy. So sometimes we need to put ourselves out there with the physical touch piece, even if it's not something that comes super duper naturally to us. So I challenge you to just try and put yourself out there. So as a recap, We have the words of affirmation, which is going to be like thank you notes. We have the acts of service, which is going to be going above and beyond with the haircut. Hi, Chelsea. We have the gifts, which is things like welcome kit, gifts, sample packets. It's not promotions or discounts so much. That's not a gift. That's like a marketing thing, right? How much before it becomes draining? None, Nikki. It shouldn't be draining at all. Because what's going to happen is the more you in tune you get with your client, I'm not going to go all 5 languages with every single client like me. Oh, quality time. Shelly brought up quality time. I don't think we talked about that. But it's perfect, Nikki. Perfect transition. Quality time is your client who wants you to sit down and say, Britt, I know last time you were in, we were talking about your dog Cooper and how he ate something weird and he had to have surgery. How did that pan out? Tell me about it. Oh my gosh, let me tell you all about it. They want to feel like you just couldn't even wait for them to come back in so they could tell you their life story, and for you to be like all tuned in and be like, yes, I don't want to think about anything else except you and your dog Cooper, and tell me about the vacation you're planning again. Where are you going? When do you leave? What is your flight number? Tell me about the hotel you're staying at. When you have that client who's like, okay, settle in because I'm going to tell you my whole life story and I expect you to remember all of this, that is a quality time. So Nikki said, how does this not become draining? Because not all your clients are programmed that way. I'm not a quality time. So my stylist doesn't have to worry about me coming in and expecting them to remember everything about me. I couldn't care less about that. If you remember everything about me or not, that's not what I'm looking for. I want you to tell me I look beautiful, my hair's amazing, and you've just never met anybody who's nicer. That's what I need. But I don't need you to remember anything about my personal life. I couldn't care less about that. So what's going to happen is as you figure out more about your clients, you're only going to have to put 1/5 of this energy into each and every guest. But at the first appointment, like the man explained, it is important that you get a really good sense of what's important to your guest. But like the story I told maybe 5 minutes ago, if you didn't hear it, what happened with this guest is that all 5 love languages fell apart. It would have been one thing if the barber had been like, okay, he really values this and that and these pieces, so I need to make sure those pieces are there. But as this man came back for visit 2 and visit 3, all 5 languages fell apart. So that's not what happened at all. The other thing is really important, like I said earlier, to not set the bar too high at the very first visit. Let it be getting to know somebody, let it be like your first date, and let it be just figuring out as much about the guest as you possibly can. Yes, deliver an incredible guest experience, but figure out like, okay, this person's probably a quality time. So to deliver an exceptional experience, what I'm gonna do is make note of the things we talk about today, and then I'm gonna make notes about that in their online profile. Hopefully you're all using online booking, so that when she does come back in at her second visit, I can say, Sheila, oh my gosh, it's so good to see you again. How was your vacation in Puerto Rico? I'm so excited for you. How was your daughter's graduation? You're going to knock her socks off that you remembered so many details about her, even though you met her one time. And she might even give you a pass if your assistant forgets the coffee. You know what I mean? So just tune into your guests, realize what they need to feel valued, and it will take your business to leaps and bounds. Okay, so much love. Happy Monday. Thank you for those of you who joined me today, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye, guys.